Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to be going through some of the things we've looked at earlier on. And we started the class for the web design class by going through quite some things. We looked at the software development life cycle, software dev life cycle. Then we looked at HTML. We looked at Bootstrap. Now, the next thing on our agenda is we want to look at all of this, right? In this video, I'm going to do a 4-part series video. The first video is going to be all of this. I'm going to explain them. And the second video is going to be this. I've already dropped that on the WhatsApp mentorship group. Then the third one is going to be this. And of course, the fourth one is going to be this. Okay, so the first one is going to be review of the previous class. I'm going to introduce cPanel hosting to you. How do you purchase a domain name and hosting account? How do you set up corporate emails? How do you upload your Bootstrap website to a cPanel? How do you implement SSL? So there are several types of SSL. How do you implement that? And how can you even use a free Cloudflare SSL account? Let's encrypt, right? So that's what I'm going to be considering in this video in the next roughly about 30 minutes. Okay, preview of the last class. So in the last class, we looked at some Bootstrap sites we worked on. I think this is it, my site. If you open this, I open this with my Visual Studio Code. With Visual Studio Code, and also I can open this also with my browser. So I see what the site looks like. So we talked about in HTML, we talked about elements. We talked about tags. We talked about attributes. So you want to go through the previous video that's uploaded on YouTube to see how to review that particular class, and also drop some reference materials for you. I think before that, we looked at the software development life cycle. We say you need to plan, you need to design, you need to build, then you need to test, then you need to deploy. So this is like an abridged version of an elaborate 7-step or 6-step process of how you develop a software. So the business developers, the business analysts, web developers, designers, they help in planning, and also the client. Then the designer, that is you now start looking at the different ways you can build this particular website, which we talked about on the first day. I think, let me see if I can get that material. Courses, as I said, courses. So we looked at, okay, I don't know if I have it here. So the different ways you could set up your website. So say you can be doing a free website. You could be doing using CMS, the free website. We talked about Wix. We talked about WordPress. We talked about Blogger. We talked about several others. Then for CMS, we talked about Joomla. We talked about Drupal. We talked about Joomla. We talked about Drupal. We talked about Magento and the rest. Then we said you could use a programming language like PHP. You could use Java. You could use JavaScript. You could use any of those languages. Then we said you could use a framework like React, like Angular, and the rest. So there are several ways you could build up a site. And it's important that you understand that for front-end technologies, you have HTML, front-end, you have HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So that's what makes up the front-end technology. Then for back-end, we said it's going to be a language, which can be, it can be any. It can be PHP, Perl, Java, of course, JavaScript also inclusive. Then you have a Python, you have, depending, several languages, then plus a database. And database can be MySQL, can be PostgreSQL, can be Oracle, can be several other different databases that can be implemented. So that's the front-end developer, the back-end developer. So that's what we looked at in the very introductory class. And in the HTML class, we looked at elements, tags, and attributes. So elements are what holds your entire the entire stuff. Then tags are what you use to format your document. So it's synonymous to you having a Microsoft Word document. You will have to format it. So you have to mark it up. So that's why at times you say that HTML is not a programming language, rather is a markup language. Then how do you mark it up? How do you style it? You use tags. So you have bold, italics. You have bold, italics, underline. You have a list. You have image. You have article. You have quite a lot in their numbers. You have paragraph. You have break. You have, and you typically should not be cramming or like trying to memorize this stuff. So you use them with your usage over time, you get used to them. And there are lots of reference, which I dropped for you in the previous video on how to cope and work on these tags. Like you see this index I just opened now. So head is a tag, HTML is a tag, link is a tag. So all of these are tags. So from here to here, the entire thing is an element, right? So this is a tag, right? Something like this is an attribute. So because it describes this particular tag. Or for instance, if you have a link tag, something like href is the attribute that tells us about this link. Or for instance, when you have an image tag, let me look for an image tag, something like this, right? An image tag. So this source is an attribute of this particular image tag. This alternate, like you're saying, what is the alternate text if this image does not show up, or if somebody that is a PWD, persons with disability, maybe visually impaired, if they look at this website, what should they be seeing? So will it be a company logo, right? If you put it, so you are actually providing an alternate tag to this image tag, right? Okay, so that's about that. A short overview of that. And for Bootstrap, we looked at made with Bootstrap as a go-to area websites that, let me see if I can get that, made with Bootstrap. You could use that to grab quite a lot of bootstrapmade.com. Okay, let me update that, bootstrapmade.com. So you could use this website to download, I think there are about 80 plus templates here, right? So you could show you how to download these templates and how to use that to now start editing, modifying, changing the color, the scheme, the text, the images, and every other thing you have in those templates, and you can build amazing websites. So you have them here. So many nice websites. And I showed you reference website that was built using Bootstrap. Of course, the main Bootstrap site where every of these other templates are made up of Get Bootstrap. So that's the name of the site. Get Bootstrap. So the name of the site is Get Bootstrap. So Get Bootstrap is the original reference for anything Bootstrap. So that's where you can learn all the pieces, all the little components, the little items that makes up Bootstrap, right? If you click on Get Started, I will say that Bootstrap is a HTML, CSS, JavaScript framework. You use it for designing front-end websites. So if you are going to start developing advanced stuff, you will need to be able to build using Bootstrap. If you need to do layout, I'll come to that later on. Let me talk about this template. So if you need to use Bootstrap for any of your site, the most important thing for you is to reference this CSS, right? If I open this exact link, you see what is happening. if I tap on this link, you see, this is the Bootstrap, rather, this is the CSS of what makes our website nice. So what you have here, you have font size, you have color. If I do something like button now, if I look for button, right? So are you seeing anywhere I have button, depending on what class I am using, you see, this is what tells how formatted our website is going to look like. So everything we do in all of these templates, right, is based out of this Bootstrap framework, right? And of course, this is the CSS that takes care of all that. And why do we call it a framework? We call it a framework because everything is pre-done, everything is pre-built. All we just need to do is to take what has been built already, then we modify. So it makes it possible for us to build our website very, very fast. So you see this Bootstrap, this stuff, it has to be referenced. And of course, this JavaScript. So those are the two guys that we need to include. Once we include that, we cannot be able to use any of the components. We cannot be able to customize our site with any of the contents we have here. For instance, components is very important. Let's say I'm building a website and I need let's say carousel, or I need a card. Okay, so you have, if for instance, if you have something like cards, awesome. So if you are to build something like this in your website, all you need to do, let's say this is an image, this is a card, this is a text, and this is a link to somewhere. All you just need to do is come grab this guy, right? If you grab this guy, copy this guy. If you grab this guy, you have a div class here. The class is card. So for the fact that the class is card, if you come to this CSS and search for card, for instance, so you have plenty places, many places where you have card. So look at card here, dot card, position, relative, display, flexible, direction, column, width, 0, word round. So all of the formatting, see the color, it's white, right? The background color of card is white, right? So that's why this background color is white. It then means that if you want to customize how you want this card to look like, you wouldn't be referencing Bootstrap. Rather, what you'll be doing is that you are going to be downloading Bootstrap. I'll talk about that later on. So you would download the Bootstrap, then edit this FFF. Where is the guy there? This FFF, edit this FFF to HTML color codes. So, you know, FFF, they follows the hex color format, which is red, green, and blue. So if you see a color that is FFF, it then means that red is full, that is F. I don't mean full by because it's F. No, it's you have A, B, C, D, E, F. So F is like 100%. So 100% of red, 100% of green, 100% of blue. So if you mix these three colors in appropriate same proportion, you are going to get white, right? So that's just by the way, that if you are doing graphics, you're doing branding, so you could learn all of that. So, but for the purpose of what we're doing, you could come to this site, which is a hex HTML color codes. You could come and pick any of your color, right? And you pick, this is the hex value, this is the RGB value, this is the HSL, and this is the CMYK, ASEAN, Magento, Yan, and I think, what's the name of this color again? So you could pick this, right? And you change this value, this FFF you have here, automatically is now going to get this color that you've indicated. Or for instance, if you have an image and you want to pick the color from the image, I think online you have what you call image as in HTML image picker. So there are some websites that you could go upload your image and you could pick the color that you have, the different colors you have within that particular image. Okay, so because of time, let me just try it on. So this is what we did in our previous class. We did this website, ISOSEC Website Design Foundation course. We made most of these changes. And if I want to preview what this website looks like, I could just a moment. This, my site, then this is the index. And I told you that the index is the very first page, the page that leads to every other page you have on the website. Just like you have a book, when you say the index page of a book, so that's that reference page, that page that you now have like link to several other pages. Okay, so if I open this on my browser, I'm going to see that. So for this template, you have blog site, and several other ones. So you could also edit them, because on this website, you could link to those websites. Like for instance, the blog. If you see my tags bar here, if you check here, my tags bar here, you'll see my site /blog.html. So if you click on it, it's a separate HTML base. So you could make those edits. So this is what we did in our last class. You saw how to get these icons. I think box image or font awesome. I love what most of us have done in terms of our project. So please keep them coming as we move ahead. So you could make all of these edits. You could change all of this stuff. You could comment out the sections that you don't need. Okay, that's that about Bootstrap. So what we want to do today is we want to trash out these few items. So I've done a review of the previous class. So I want to introduce cPanel to you, right? So for you to host the Bootstrap site you've built, one of the first things you need to do is that you need to purchase a domain name and hosting account. So I'll drop some additional references for you with respect to cPanels, uploading cPanels, creating emails and the rest, but I'm going to do some of them here for you, and we'll see how that works. So you have thousands of hosting companies around. So you have several hosting companies that have been hosting websites. So at South we also host websites. Let me show you something. For instance, if you want to know how old the website is or the age of a website, especially for some of us doing cybersecurity when it comes to footprinting, you could use Whois to get that. I think we started having a dedicated site for hosting sometime in 2016. Was it 2016 or so? But most of the websites that we build and host in their numbers, we normally host them in our servers in US. So I want to show you a simple Whois to see this age. Okay, so if I put this, and also how long we've been doing this, I'll talk, let me see, ventures. So you could decide to host your domain name anywhere. So wherever you're buying your hosting, whether a Nigerian host, a US host, a UK host, whatever decision you make with respect to buying your domain name, the goal is make sure you have a domain account and a hosting account. Like you see this site now, this site has been since 2010 till that's about 12 years. Then whereas this, I think 7 years. So we're hosting most of the applications that we build here. I think after some time, we now migrated most of them to this place, right? I think in 2014, 2015, we now migrated them to this place. So if I want to purchase a hosting account, I just need to go to southhosting.com or any domain name of your choice. You click on domain search. You search for your domain name of choice. You have what they call TLD. You call them top top level domain name. So .org, .com, .net, and the rest. So I prefer .com, that's communications, organization, network. Prefer .com. So all you just need to do is to search for the domain name. Let's say I want to build projects and research.com. I just need to search for the name, right? If it's available, what I do is add it to my cart and add hosting to it. Once I add hosting to it, I make purchase. Once I make purchase, I will now have my cPanel account. It's something that happens within an hour and 24 hours, right? So back in 2014 to 15, so I normally assist students, postgraduate students, diploma, undergraduate students, businesses, carry out researches, projects, other academic or business. So I have this domain name. So if I want to rebuild this particular site, I just need to add it to my cart. I check out. So to build a website, you need three things, basically. So you need a domain name, you need a hosting account, then you need your skills, right? So this is where your cost, you have a cost for domain name, that is the URL. You have cost for hosting, that is the space. So this is the name, this is the space. Then you have to now build your website. So if you don't know how to build your website, that means you're going to outsource it for someone to be able to set up this, and this. But since you can do this, so you're not trying to learn how to do this too, right? So next thing I'm going to do is to add hosting to this. So what I'm going to do is that after this video, I'm going to see how to create maybe a discount plan for you guys. I'll drop the coupon or I'll inbox you if you're ready to purchase from this place. I'll see how to maybe offer 50% off this place or something around 40% so that you get a discount from our regular pricing here. So I will add these cards. So I'm using this domain name I will use. So if you check the previous slide, previous screen, you see that you have different hosting sizes. So you could use 500 MB, you could use 1 gig, you could use 3 gig, you could use. But for the purpose of your projects, anytime you buy a domain name, normally it's for 1 year. So I normally encourage my students, get a domain name, get a hosting account. It's for 1 year. Once you have that, you could build a lot of stuff. You could familiarize yourself with the platform, the process for a 1 whole year period. And there's nothing that stops you from renewing that. The same amount you spend in buying most of the time is the same amount you use to renew, except there's a slight difference, which actually will not be more than a 10, 15, 20% increase. So you have that, and that confirms that, yes, you can actually set up a website. So you cannot say you can set up a website if you yourself, you don't have a website of your own. So to get a shared hosting for 1 gig is about 7K. Then to get a domain name is about 6.5. So it's about $10, $12, $13, $15, depending on where you are buying from. So it's roughly between 5,000, 5 or 5,000 or 4, 5 even, up to like 7,000. So depending on the pricing and depending on the registrar. So for hosting, also depending on the size. So, but to get something decent with good service, you should be spending anything between 8,000 to 15,000 if you want 1 gig. And also, you have different types of plans and different things you can do with such kind of plan. So depending on the host you choose, for instance, a host can offer 500 MB disk space, 10 gig monthly bandwidth with maybe 1 subdomain name. I'll tell you what a subdomain name is like. Then you might be told you have limits to most of these things. So you want to compare your plans, and whatever you decide to go, whichever you decide you go with, you stick with it, get a plan, and you can now be up and running. So you see you have 500 MB, 1 gig, 3 gig, a bronze plan, gold, super gold, and you also have custom plan. So depending on what you're doing, a 1 gig will be most appropriate for you so that you can have your at least 1 or 2, 3 projects within that website, right? You could host more than one stuff inside a website. If somebody tells you, okay, your website, you could showcase 1, 2, 3 links within same website. So that's good. You don't want something, a kind of plan that you have limits to maybe how many subdomain names you can have or how many database you can have. You have many hosting companies have those kind of restrictions. Okay, so I'll write on. So once I check out, what's going to happen is that I'll be told to register or I'll be told to sign in if I don't have an account. So all I just need to do is say, I put my name, let me say my name is Victor. My name is Victor Chidi. My email address is this, okay? Let me say saltechremote@gmail.com. My phone number is this. Company name is Saltech, 67 Kano. What is this? Street address, okay, 67 Kano Street. FCT, Abuja, postcode 9, I think it's 9090, yeah. So account details. So that's my email. So if you are new, this is going to be your username. That is your email. Then this is going to be your password, right? And once you're done, you could pay with your debit card, credit card. So Paystack is implemented here. So let me choose. So there you have, so I want to pay with Paystack, so I could complete my order. Once I complete my order, what's going to happen is that I would have purchased that particular domain name. So let me try it. So if I choose bank deposit, it then means that I have to now maybe transfer money to the registrar, right? And this order will be completed for me. Or if you have a debit card, you could click on Paystack, you complete order. What is now going to happen is that you will now be presented with your kind of your a box where you have to enter your details and you're able to purchase this domain name. Okay, let's see what happens. It's trying to complete order.